Chris, I don't want to waste any more time, man. Let's get into this because it was a pretty intriguing tee up that you gave us there yesterday. And, talking about the reviews and, what is the right place to look for reviews these days with AI? It's a different world,
It
and you've been
is.
so great about enlightening us to that. But you wanted to talk about the review thing today. What's up, man? What's on your mind?
Okay, cool. So I hope this is going to be incredibly valuable for our community here. On the LOBC roller coaster this morning, a sad trombone and a yay all in the same. Amazing. So okay. Frank, if it's okay, I got to go backwards to go forwards first
Sure.
because our world is changing. And what we're going to talk about today is how five-star Google reviews has evolved as a result of artificial intelligence. Because in today's world, it's not about reviews, it's about reputation. And reputation is actually a lot more than just your Google reviews. And it is so good for us in the mortgage industry and for everybody following the daily success plan, doing your weekly updates for your clients and your realtors and your partners. It all comes together just perfectly. But before we get into that, we've got something we got to talk about. This is an interesting talking point for your real estate partners, but it's also something for us to just understand and know moving into the world. So this week, ChatGPT escaped.
What?
Dun, dun,
Man,
dun.
I've got that sound effect too, but you've got the
Come on,
screen,
hit,
so
let's go, let's go.
I can't do it. I got to bring my sound up. It's okay.
Oh, no,
It's,
okay, all right.
yeah,
Well, hopefully mine was
it
not
was pretty good.
horrible,
It
right?
was pretty good.
Okay, but this is real. This is legitimate news. Like Sam Altman from OpenAI is in Washington right now as we speak, getting ready to talk to um, whoever it is that he talks to there about this. So what happened was they took the existing ChatGPT models and their new model that is yet to be released, right? So think Fable 5, but even more powerful. So Fable 5 is from Claude, ChatGPT. They've got this new model. They haven't released it yet. They put it into testing in a secure environment. So the way these things work is like the developers have it, it's in a box, it's not allowed out of the box, and they test it. So um, it found and created during this test that it was doing a 0-day vulnerability, which is a mouthful. And all that means is it's a security flaw or vulnerability that's never been discovered before. That's why they call it 0-day, because it's like the day they discover it, right? So it finds this 0-day vulnerability and uses it to access another computer, finds another 0-day vulnerability in that system, and is able to get to the internet from a testing environment secured by the engineers at ChatGPT. The thing it was trying to figure out was a security quiz. And it determined that this website, Hugging Face, and if you haven't heard of Hugging Face is a website where you can go to and you can see all of the AI models. Like you can access all the AI. So it's got ChatGPT, it's got Grok, it's got Gemini, Perplexity, the ones from China, like all of them. They're just like all there. So like if you're looking for data or to test different models on different things and you're a developer, that's where you go to check this stuff out. Well, it goes to Hugging Face, can't get access to it, does another 0-day vulnerability to access it and actually accesses their system. So like never in the world has this ever happened. And it happened this week.
Did it do this, Chris, like on its own? Like it tried, or was it told to try and do this?
It was told to try and figure out a problem on how to find security vulnerabilities. And it determined that the best way to go do that was to go to Hugging Face and get the data from behind a secured environment from Hugging Face. And so it basically like went and hacked a
So
site
it found
on the
its way
internet
to
to
it
get the
where
info.
it shouldn't have been able to do that, but it did.
It shouldn't be able to access the internet. It's in a closed, secured testing
Yeah.
environment. So
Wow.
we just lived through this week what I believe is the very, very first cusp of superintelligence. So this is AI that is able to work its way through and around the human intelligence security protocols that we have existing. And
Oh,
so,
God.
and the point here, Frank, is that when when we look at our businesses, the way things that are going to be done in a year from now and the way that they're done now are going to be completely different. And I didn't want anybody to see this news out in the wild and not have the context of how this relates to our mortgage businesses. Because as we all know, roughly 87% of mortgage deals come from referrals. Past customer database, realtor referrals, right? That's what we need to be focused on. That's where we need to be making our calls. Where this super intelligence comes in is taking care of all of the busy work, the excuses, the reasons we use for call reluctance, everything in front of and after making the phone calls to the people that can send us deals, our customers, the people that we know, and referral partners, and deals in process, right? So we can now use this like never before had intelligence to organize our database, properly structure our database, create content for our database, communicate with our database, identify the opportunities in our database that are the best people to call and reach out to, put them in a power dialer. So when you show up in the morning, you don't have to do any of the data entry, you don't have to do any of the pre-work, you just show up, you click the button, the phone starts ringing, and you're talking to people, right? After you talk to those people, you can talk to the loan officer AI CRM and say, hey, I just talked to Daniela. We talked about this and this and this. I need you to put together a PDF to send her on this loan analysis and follow up for 6 weeks until we get the loan application. Build the funnel, add her to it, and launch it. Okay, good, gone. You have one conversation with AI, it goes and does 4 to 6 hours of work to build that funnel to follow up on that one person. But you just made a phone call, talked to your AI, made the next phone call. Make the next phone call, make the next phone call. The AI is here to replace all of these tasks that take up all of our time, that take us away from the money making activities, which is getting on the phone and talking to our referral partners. So if you haven't yet started attending LOAI Friday at noons or Breakfast Club here on Fridays, or just started to try and implement a couple of AI tools in your business, now is the time. We just passed this massive hurdle and it's not going to slow down. So whatever happens in Washington is going to happen in Washington, but this is a global idea and these companies are not going to slow down. And so it's coming. Now, the other thing behind the technology, Frank, is our customers and the market, let's call it, right? Well, I'm a very firm believer in advertising to have conversations, right? That's why we advertise to our past customer database, we advertise to our realtors, we advertise to new people who are interested in mortgages so that we can have conversations with these people. And we know from Blockbuster and Kodak and BlackBerry, technology shifts, the market shifts with it. If you don't move to where the market's going, you miss the market. The market is moving in a big way. So there was a study, this was done by SEMrush and another fantastic organization, and they look at just Google business profile data. And year over year, calls from Google business profiles are down 60% in the financial services industry. 60%. That means if you were getting 10 calls last year, you're getting 4 today. And these are the actual borrowers that are reaching out. The really telling number for me when I saw this study when it came out is impressions. Impressions of people looking for people in financial services on Google are down 54%. Those wild numbers. Like, I've never seen a pivot this fast in the industry. It was announced last month. ChatGPT now has over 1 billion active users, and they're over $25 billion in annualized revenue. Claude coming up, their latest valuation put them somewhere in the mark of, I believe, like an annualized run rate of between 14 and $30 billion, closer to the $30 billion. So like our customers are moving from Google into these AI agents at a rate that's never been seen before. And that's where the conversation about reviews comes from. Because for Frank, since I didn't have gray hair to now where I do have a smattering of gray coming in on the side here, like 12 years, I've been helping to coach the mortgage industry on ask your customers for 5-star ratings and reviews on Google. Ask them before the deal closes, hey, when we close this deal, can we agree that that's worth a 5-star rating and review? I'm going to follow up. After the deal, put them in an automated process that goes out, gets that Google review, and people would Google best mortgage lender near me. Your Google business profile calls up. They read the ratings and reviews and they call you as a result of it. You know, in the grand scheme of things, pretty simple funnel, right? That has changed. All these consumers are going to chat. They're doing specific research. And Frank, the reason why this is so important for our community is because it touches every bucket of business. So when you're working your past customer database and they do run into a friend, family member, or coworker that's looking to buy, sell, or refinance, and they refer your name to somebody else, it's likely that that other person, that referral, that person that's been referred to you is going to check you out. And now the market is moving into AI. They're going to type your name into AI and see what AI says about you and your brand. Same thing with realtors. You're making your calls, you're following the daily success plan, you're calling realtors. A realtor's at the point where they're like, yeah, you know what? I do need an alternative lender for something that my lender doesn't offer, or I've got this deal on my desk and I'm not happy with the follow up, or I don't know what's going on with the file and I'm finally frustrated enough to try a different option. That realtor is going to check you out on AI before they pick up the phone and they call you. And so when we view the artificial intelligence as a part of our team and a part of our sales process, we can understand that what that engine has been fed about your business really, truly matters because it's for your database, it's for your referral partners, and then the third leg of the stool, if I may, is new consumers and new customers that are going to AI and saying, find me a reputable mortgage lender. And AI understands they're a first-time home buyer, they need a specialist in first-time home buyer products. Your AI profile has been trained that you're the expert in first-time home buyer products, and it can recommend you to a first-time home buyer. We're seeing unbelievable quality coming out of customers that are picking up the phone, making the phone calls, and calling a lender as a result of a recommendation of AI. Sorry, Frank. When I get going, I get going. Am I talking too fast? Everything's going up.
No, go.
All right.
We're
Greg, my brother,
riveted. Yeah.
good to see you. You got a question? Can I help you? Should we wait?
You're making me think of something and I want to ask it quickly.
Let's
Let's
go.
go. Should I have my clients take their Google review and copy it and throw it into ChatGPT and say, hey, Greg was amazing and just a little bit about my info? Am I all wrong?
No, so not wrong. Brilliant question. Love the way that you're thinking about that. But there's another way to go about it, and we'll discuss it right now if that's
Okay.
cool.
All right. All right, cool.
Greg,
Thanks.
so I was going to do this thing where we called somebody from the audience and use them as a live demonstration. Would you be willing to sit in the hot seat this morning?
Let's
Can I introduce?
go. Let's
Yes.
go.
All
My blood
right.
is on fire. Let's go.
Not what I wanted to hear, but that's okay. um, Greg, what can you remind me what market you're in, brother?
uh, well, I do. Chicago is one of my main markets. Should I give you all four or just one?
Just one. Where your business is
Chicago.
located?
Chicago.
Chicago? All right. And do you specialize in a specific type of mortgage?
I am conventional all day, but I do a lot of multi-unit stuff.
Multi-unit? Okay,
Yeah,
cool. And then are you a lender or broker?
I'm a lender.
My man. All right, cool. So we're going to use that in just a second, and I'll show you. And this comes to the
Cool.
conversation about reputation. So Google used to have backlinks, articles, press releases, other websites that gave kind of like weird nerdy signals on like whether a business was reputable or not. Like how much content do they publish? Where does it get published? Do people actually read it? Time on site? Like they had all these weird ways of judging whether a business was reputable. I mean, how many of you, let me know in the chat, you've gone to Google, did a Google search, and a competitor comes up and you're like, what is going on? They don't do any business. Or they might not have the greatest reputation in your marketplace. Have you ever been like shocked by somebody that comes up in the search results? Because it was all this nerd data information that ranks the websites on Google. And I'm not saying that Google's not important anymore. Google is absolutely still important. Your Google reviews are still important, but the market's moving and I want you in front of it. And so we have to understand that AI now looks at your reputation like a person would, not like a computer would. And that means that it's going to places like Reddit and Facebook groups and actual online conversations that are happening between real people. It's reading those conversations and using the conversations to get a feeling of what your actual reputation is, and then using that to then recommend you to the type of customer that fits the type of people that are having conversations about you. So if you have somebody that goes into a private Facebook group and says, Greg's amazing, we were first-time home buyers, he helped us understand how to get access to the grant, we thought we needed 20% down, he showed us how to get it with 3% down, Greg was amazing for our first purchase of our first home. Well, AI understands the context of that conversation that's happening on Facebook, and Greg gives you credit for being not only a good lender that's reputable that it can recommend, but a good lender for first-time home buyers that it can recommend to the next first-time home buyer in your local market. Does that make sense? Cool. All right, everybody with me so far?
Yep.
Okay. So basically, it comes down to three things. You need to show up as a mortgage expert across the entire web, right? Not just Google reviews, but you need, Frank, we've done classes on NAP, which is your name, your address, your phone number, and your website, right? All that information on all the local business directories needs to be the exact same, so the AI can find you, index you. Your website, still super important. It's the foundation that everything sits on top of. So your website not only needs to have all of the information about you, your certifications, who you help, what associations you're part of, whether you've got a charity that you're involved in, all of that information needs to be right on the homepage, and who you help and what products you offer, all on the homepage of the website. And then behind the scenes, it's got to be AI readable. So it's got to be written in a way where AI can index it and understand it. Our team does all that up front. The way your website looks doesn't change, but the code and everything behind it changes so that AI can actually read it. Press releases, all that stuff, still very important, but put in the places where AI goes to get the information. Then we need to start getting our customers to have conversations about us online in the places where AI goes to read those conversations. So asking your customers to go talk about you on Reddit, asking your customers to go talk about you inside private Facebook groups, and then providing content in those places, which is, you're probably thinking, well, what places, right? I'll show you how to get that in just a second. The third thing that you need to do is back it up with content. I believe that everybody here should have ChatGPT with the prompt that we give away, where it turns on once a week on Fridays, and Friday morning it goes out and researches the top Q&As in your market on the products that you want to get recommended for. It brings back the questions, you create the answers, and then you publish that. Email newsletter to your database, blog on your website, social media posts that go on all your social media, and if you're doing video marketing, a video that goes out on YouTube and short form platforms like Instagram and TikTok. So the content piece is the third pillar, where you're leaving the information that the AI can use to recommend you to somebody. So building your foundation with all your press releases and your website and your business directories and all that stuff has to be like a one-time overhaul. It's got to look great. 2, you need to get your customers to talk about you in conversations online. And 3, you need to back that up with content where the AI goes, looks at your brand and goes, oh, yes, they are an expert. Here's all this wonderful information that I can look at, take, and serve to the next person that's asking questions about mortgages. Right? Pretty simple 3-step process. Right? Again, we work on this on Fridays. So, Greg, let's take a look at your market and discover where we should be having these conversations. All right. So,
Ready?
I'm just going to open up chat here and we're going to go to chat.openai.com. It says, where should we begin? So I'm going to say, find me a multi-unit lender in Chicago. Find me your recommended multi-unit lender in Chicago. Greg, like a perfect multi-unit deal, like, is this like a 4-unit, 6-unit? Like,
An owner occupied 2 unit. So a duplex, which in Chicago we call it 2 flat.
nonsense. For an owner-occupied duplex. I'm just kidding. Okay, right.
Yeah, you're good.
So now chances are, if I was your actual customer, it would already know that I'm an investor or I'm already looking. So I've already been on Zillow and I've already been looking at listings. I've already asked it to run the cap rates on a bunch of different properties. I've already gone through the process. So the AI from other conversations that I'm having with it already understands that I'm probably an investor and this is the type of deal that I'm looking for. So I could even go in here and just say, okay, great, I'm ready to go. Find me a lender in Chicago. The AI will understand that I'm looking for somebody who specializes in multi-unit because of all the conversations that I've already had with it. Now, the AI in your market has gone out and found Jason, First Community Mortgage, A&N, this gentleman Connor, and this gentleman Juan. And so down here at the bottom, you can click on these 3 dots. Sometimes it just comes up with the sources and you click on view sources. And over here on the right-hand side, you can see all of the different websites that the AI has gone to make that decision. Now, I'm going to say here, which one has the best reputation? Typical that a consumer would go out and be like, hey, which one's got a great recommendation? And it's going to go through. If I were choosing based on overall reputation, execution, and confidence in getting a difficult deal closed, this would be my ranking. Gives me the same 3 choices. And then I click back here on sources. And what I'm looking for is for these conversations. Nice. Who does the market recommend? Or I would say other consumers recommend. And what I'm looking for is for the AI to tell me it's gone to Bird Eye, Better Business Bureau, and Dorsal, which is Greg. These are all sites that you want to be listed on. And this is actually really interesting, Frank. So normally when I do this, when we do consults with people, it comes up with Facebook groups and Reddit threads. So Greg, in your market in Chicago, it is reasonable to think that there isn't even conversations started on those networks about this type of deal. Right? If I was to go for first-time home buyers or for something that wasn't as niche-y, it would come up with those conversations. So what you want to do in your market is go create the conversations on those platforms.
So
So you
go to social media, go to Reddit, and start a conversation about what it's like to own a 2 unit property or live in.
exactly just those 2 sites, right? And I personally, would start with Reddit. So I would go to Reddit r Chicago and I would post in there and say, I just created this guide for people buying duplexes in Chicago with the 3 things you need to know in today's market. If you're buying a property and you've got questions, post them in this thread.
Interesting.
And you're the only lender in Chicago with indexed information about duplex buying on Reddit. I've seen this stuff indexed in as little as 24 to 48 hours, where I can go back, do the search, and it shows up inside the AI. Then what I would do is I would go to Facebook, take a look at Facebook, and have the same conversation. So you find the Chicago real estate Facebook group and just say, hey, if you're looking to buy a multi-unit property, here's this great guide with 3 things you need to know before you go through the process. Now, the wonderful thing about that, and here, hold on, Frank, I'll give you your sound back. The great thing about that is we're doing it so that the AI can index the information and show it to that consumer that's doing the search. But Greg, what you're actually getting is access to all of the leads on Facebook and all of the leads on Reddit that are going to find, read, and participate in that conversation on that network. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's kind of wild to see those sites because then there has not been a conversation yet. So it's interesting to niche down. Like I was going to say condos, but this is a big niche that I work in. So fascinating.
And it shows us that this is like, from a digital marketing perspective, if we were selling like running shoes or like something e-commerce or something that was like really saturated, there would be content all over the place. It would be so competitive. Here we are, it's Chicago, major market. There's not a single lender that's gone out and owned those 2 spots. And they tend to be the 2 places where AI is pulling the most amount of social proof from. And so John puts a great comment in here. Good morning, brother. Good to see you. He says, isn't that self-promotion on Reddit which is frowned upon? And the answer to that is yes, absolutely. You don't want to go on and be like, I'm an amazing lender. You should choose me for duplexes. That's it. Shenanigans, and a great way to get banned out of that conversation on Reddit. But if you put together a guide and say, these are the 3 things that you need to know, and there's no promo in it, you're just providing information into the community, you're all good. Now it's up to the moderator in that community as to whether they let it go. And you need to make, like, I personally, if I've got a subreddit that I want to go into, I'll reach out to the mods and introduce myself. I'll be like, hey, I'm a mortgage lender. I want to start producing content. This is my first article. Would that be cool? And they say, yes, or no. And then I say, okay, great. What does the community need? But being the leader in those communities, there's a tremendous amount of leads from Reddit, and there's a tremendous amount of authority that gets built with artificial intelligence by being active in that community. So phase 1 for you, Greg, you have a blue ocean. You have an opportunity that hasn't been tapped yet for that type of deal in that market, and you can go own the market. Many of you, if you're following along and you're doing these searches in your own ChatGPT, you'll be seeing Facebook and Reddit and those sources. Well, if you're already seeing the links and already seeing the conversations, that's where you want to send your customers to tell their story of what it was like to do business with you. So it's not you going and doing self-promotion on Reddit or Facebook groups. It's your happy customers after the deal closes going and posting the story about their experience with you that lists your name and your phone number. That's enough for the AI to pick it up, grab it from the conversation, and use it to recommend you the next time. So if you've got a blue ocean like Greg, you create the conversation through helpful content that doesn't pitch. If the conversation's already happening, you ask your customers after the deal is funded to go to that community and leave a story about what it was like to do business with you, and that story gets posted so the AI can pick it up, but also everybody in the community sees the story and you get that like extra little bit of a bump in your marketing on that.